commonly asked questions about the Marine Corps. So a lot of people don't know too much about the Marine Corps, right? So I'm gonna try and help you out and answer your question. All these answers I just got from Google. First question is, what's the process after recruit training? Get done with recruit training. You're done. You're a Marine now. You did boot camp. What's next, right? Typically, you're going to get 10 days of leave. It's called boot leave, right? So it's right after boot camp, just to go home, see your family. When I was going this whole process, my schoolhouse was backed up. I was a school of infantry. This is when they were doing the 13-week infantry courses. If they were going from the 8-week to the 13-week, but now they're back to the 8-week because the 13 weeks were taking too long. I had a month of recruiter's assistance, so that's a little different, right? And I know you can request recruiter's assistance if you need to. If there's something back home that you need to take care of, right, they'll be willing to work with you, put you on recruiting assistance. Everybody get their 10 days of boot leave. And then some people, it depends all on your schoolhouse, right? So if you're aviation mechanic, whatever reason, right, your schoolhouse is backed up. From what I know from my friends, if you're going through MCT, you're probably not going to get boot leave unless you request it. The way to go about requesting that, while you're on your boot leave, go to your recruiter's office. Whoever recruited you, your recruiter's probably still there unless he was on like his last couple of weeks, which probably isn't the case. You know the recruiter's at your recruiting office, right? So go there, be like, hey, I'm on boot leave right now. I want to stay home for, right? And you're going to need like a valid reason, right? Like, well, it all kind of depends. It's all case by case. If you have recruiters that want people to come on recruiter's assistance, right, they might be more willing to help you out than others. Let's just say you don't have any recruiter's assistance. Everybody's going to go to the School of Infantry. You're either going to go there for your infantry training if you're infantry. If you're anything other than infantry, you're going to go through MCT. We'll go over MCT first, right, real quick. I don't know too much about it, right, just because I've never gone through MCT, but I know what MCT is, right? So you're going to show up probably with a lot of people you went to boot camp with. You're just going to get a basic understanding of more in depth of what you learned from boot camp, right? So in boot camp, you learn how to shoot table 1 and table 2. You're just going to do different courses of fire. You might do some smaller stuff. I don't really know. Maybe you'll do some field ops, right? I don't know what entails in those field ops, but you'll stay in the field for, I think it's about a month long, maybe 3 weeks. You'll go to you'll basically spend most of your time. Once you get done that, you go to your schoolhouse. So let's say you're an admin. You go through MCT and then you go to the admin school. I don't really know anything about follow-on training, right? But that's pretty much what'll happen after boot camp. And then once you finish that admin school, whatever it is, or whatever your MOS school is, then you'll get sent to your first unit. For your infantry guys, depends on how backed up the School of Infantry is. You'll go to MAC company. It's just the holding platoon there. There's no training companies being picked up right now, so you're just going to wait in the holding platoon. I was there for 2 months. I was in the holding platoon for 2 months. Some of the dudes that I went through boot camp with were only in there for a month. It's all just kind of random. If you get lucky, right, and you go there at a good part of the year, maybe you'll wait a week, or you'll wait 2 weeks, or you wait a couple of days, and you'll get picked up in training. Now, I know this is for the East Coast. I'm not too sure on the West Coast if it's going to be backed up or not. Pretty sure it's not going to be backed up anywhere because they used to do a 13-week, but now they're going back to the old 8-week, which should get people done faster. While you're sitting in the whole platoon, you can't really do nothing. You're restricted to basically the barracks and the outside. They call it a quad. You do PT in the morning, and then that's it. You do field day. Every day you field day. That's about all you can do. Maybe you'll get some classes here and there from the instructors in that holding platoon, but that's not really guaranteed. And then once you pick up in a company, you'll do your training. It used to be 13 weeks, now it's 8. You'll basically learn how to be infantryman. You'll do patrolling, you'll do a lot of AMTP, you'll do defense, you'll do all those things, fire attacks, squad supported. And I don't know what is going to be different from the 8-week to the 13-week. Again, you graduate that and you'll hit your first unit. Second question. This question is more if you go and talk to your recruiter, but I'll just give you the basic answer. What are the requirements to join the Marine Corps? A legal U.S. resident, right? I know you can join on your green card. You got to be between 17 and 28. In certain cases, you can get a waiver. You just turned 29. You could get a waiver. Some other requirements, right? You need to have a high school diploma or a GED, right? So whether you graduated high school or say you dropped out of high school but went back and got your GED. Let's say you don't have your high school diploma, as long as you have like proof of credit. So I graduated high school early, right? So I took some extra courses online and then I got the minimum amount of credits you needed to graduate from my state, which was like 120. So I just got my transcript that showed my 120 credits and then I was able to ship off without having my diploma yet. Obviously, I got it later down the line after I graduated boot camp, but you can supplement that if you're trying to do something like that where you're going into your senior year, you're trying to get out of there, you're 17 years old, you want to go to boot camp, it's really what you want to do. Then you can get those, whatever those minimum credits are for your state. And I think it's different throughout each state. Get those credits, get the transcript that proves that you have those credits, and then you'll be able to ship without your high school diploma yet. All right, now to be a Marine Corps officer, you must be a U.S. citizen between 20 and 28 years old. Obviously have your high school diploma and a bachelor's degree. As long as you have your bachelor's degree or higher, you can join. If you're going the Marine Corps officer route, chances are you pretty much what is required of you. And then the final thing for everybody else is you must pass your IST, so your initial strength test, right? So whether you're going enlisted or officer, you're going to need to pass that IST to make sure that you're physically fit and ready. That IST consists of a 1.5 mile run. It's going to be timed. I don't know what the failing time is. Failing time, it might be 13 minutes. I would say 13 minutes. If you could get it to a 10-minute 1.5 miles, you'll be good. Pull-ups, plank. For pull-ups, you only have to be able to do 3 pull-ups. But I'll tell you, if you can only do 3 pull-ups, you're not going to help yourself out. What I would recommend is being able to do double digit. That's just my personal recommendation, right? Like, you only have to do 3 to get in, but you're at the bottom of the barrel. If you're only doing 3, you're at the bottom of the barrel. Chances are you're not going to be able to pass your PFT once it comes time to do that later on in boot camp. And then for the plank, 3 minutes 45 seconds, that's the max. So just be able to hold a 4-minute plank. All right, the next most commonly asked question are what are some programs for recreation and sports? One thing I'll say first is, if you're like, well, what am I going to do in my free time, right? I can almost guarantee you, obviously in boot camp, you're not going to have any free time. You'll have your senior drill instructor square right time, but that's like to write letters back home or just take some time to yourself. And it's only like an hour. If you're going to MCT, you're not going to have any libo where you could just go out and do whatever you want. If you're an ITB for infantry, you're going to have the weekends, right? On the East Coast, I know you're probably going to go out to one of like the restaurants or something like that, or maybe you'll go to the gym. I wouldn't recommend, honestly, going to the gym, right? Obviously, you should be in shape, be fit, but for the time being, you're in student status, you're learning how to do your job. Going to the gym one time on the weekend isn't going to help you. It might, if anything, it'll just hurt you, right? So understand that you're not going to have a lot of free time until you get to your unit, and then that's when, depending on what your unit is doing, what your job in the unit is, right? For infantry, again, it all just depends. Maybe 1 week you're in the field, but then the next year you're in the rear and you're not doing too much, right? You might have some admin tasks, but you're going to have a lot of free time on your hands. Or you're in the rear, but there's a lot of stuff that has to happen but before you go back to the field, and you might be busy that week. So it all just fluctuates. But you have the Marine Corps Community Services. It offers a variety of sports, entertainment, and recreation programs at every installation worldwide. So it's the MCCS. Every base that you're at, you're going to have a Single Marines program, including ITB. That's something else you could check out, Single Marine program. Single Marine program, it depends where you're at, right? Most places have a good SMP, but other places it might be lackluster, right? So you have things in there like games, like you might have ping pong table, or I know a lot of them have Big Buck Hunter. They have a TV in there with some couches. You can just go hang out with some of your buddies, go play games, and do whatever you want to, really. I know ours has like a massage chair, so some dudes will go down there just to get a little massage. The last commonly asked question, what is the Marine Corps' role? So, according to Google, the Marine Corps is often called the tip of the spear because it serves as quick reaction force. So just kind of explain what that means. When they say quick reaction force, we have what's called MUs, Marine Expeditionary Units, that are on rotation in deployments. You could be in the Pacific, Japan gets attacked. Okay, well, we have a MU over there, so that MU is going to go respond, right? Because the Marine Corps is the only branch that doesn't take an act of Congress deployed. I know there's certain like regulations behind that, right? I think it's like it can only be for like 60 consecutive days without an act of Congress. So the president can basically say, hey, there's a conflict. We need to get the Marines because we don't need an act of Congress. We can get them in there now, and then work on that act of Congress while we're doing this. That's part of the Marine Corps' role. Obviously, there's bigger and broader pictures to that, but just going off of what they gave the answer on the internet, just kind of elaborating on top of that. So those are your guys' most commonly asked questions. about the Marine Corps. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I can make another video answering those specific questions. Have a good one.